Now let me say something about civility. For the sake of the younger generation, it concerns me that civility, humanity, and respect are sometimes lost in our interactions as Americans. Our political debates today are corrosive and not reflective of the belief that Abe Lincoln espoused back in his day, that we are a great country because we're a good country. You know what I mean when I say that. We will conduct this campaign on the high road. I don't think you need to run down someone's reputation in order to run for the office of president. Of course we'll have our disagreements. That's what campaigns are all about. But I want you to know that I respect my fellow Republican candidates. And I respect the President of the United States. He and I have a difference of opinion. Now, behind me is our most famous symbol of the promise of America. President Reagan launched the 1980 general election campaign from this very spot. It was a time of trouble, worry, and difficulty, and he assured us that we could make America great again, and through his leadership, he did. Today, I stand in his shadow, as well as the shadow of this magnificent monument to our liberty.
Jimmy Carter's administration tells us that the descendants of those who sacrificed to start again in this land of freedom may have to abandon the dream that drew their ancestors to a new life in a new land. You're right. The Carter record is a litany of despair, of broken promises, of sacred trusts abandoned and forgotten. 8 million out of work. Inflation running at 18% in the first quarter of this year. Black unemployment at 14%, higher than any single year since the government began keeping separate statistics. 4 straight major deficits run up by Carter and his friends in Congress. The highest interest rates since the Civil War, reaching at times close to 20%. Lately, they're down to more than 11%, but now they've begun to go up again. Productivity falling for 6 straight quarters among the most productive people in the world. Through his inflation, he has raised taxes on the American people by 30%, while their real income has risen only 20%. The lady standing there in the harbor has never betrayed us once, but this administration in Washington has betrayed the working men and women of this country. The president promised that he would not increase taxes for the low and middle income people, the workers of America. Then he imposed on American families the largest single tax increase in our nation's history. His answer to all this misery? He tries to tell us that we're only in a recession, not a depression, as if definitions, words, relieve our suffering. Let it show on the record that when the American people cried out for economic help, Jimmy Carter took refuge behind a dictionary. Well, if it's a definition he wants, I'll give him one. A recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when Jimmy Carter loses his.